Hi. So I'm going to be recording a little session on how to make a Django bot. This is a SMS bot that works with Twilio and Django as a development environment. I'm excited about this because I use Django at work, and this is kind of a chance for me to bring a bit of what I do at work to what I've been doing at school. So Django is really accessible. You can basically just dive into it. It's got testing, and of course it also has all the riches of Python baked into it, which is pretty good when it comes to any kind of analysis of data or anything like that. So I got two resources I'm going to use from the internet. So there's github.com/rhildred/DjangoBot. That's the code we're going to use today. And then for looking at our database, I've got the Jade JavaScript database editor. I'm going to be using that. This is something that was written by a Googler a little while ago. It was a Chrome app, and I have made it a web app because I needed it for MB315, the third-year database class I taught last summer. So those are the two resources we're going to be using. I'm also going to be using Visual Studio Code to write my code. So I'm just going to get the code. Okay. Go to Visual Studio Code. Open a folder. So rhildred, this is my home folder. So I can get to my home folder by clicking here. And then I'm going to go to source, repo. Then I already have an MB215 folder. So I'm going to make a new folder in here. March 19th. Django bot. I'll do create. I'll do open. So now this is a nice blank place for my code. I'm going to open a terminal window. Type in git for git clone, and then I'm going to paste the link that I got. Put a space, period. Okay, so that's got my code. And like many projects, this has a README file. So the README tells me what I need to do next. Start here, Python 3 -m pip install Django. Copy that, paste. Okay, so nothing happened there because I've already got pip, or in Django, I mean. So now I'm going to do migrate. All right, that looks promising. Lots of OKs there. So now I've got a database. So if I look here, db.sqlite3, that's my database file. So this is a file that I can look at in Jade, in the JavaScript database editor. So I'll just take a look. So I'm going to click open on here. I'm going to find my code. So I know it's in the MB215 folder. So it's March 19th Django bot. There it is, db.sqlite3. I'll click open. Now I can see inside the database. So there's a lot that Django has done here. If I scroll to the bottom, there's a new table that I've created, and it's an empty table. So it has a place for a phone number. So SMSs work based on phone numbers for the addressing. And then it has a place that will hold the dictionary. So we're going to put our data for our app in a dictionary, and that way we don't need to change the schema when we change our object. So our order will has a relationship with the dictionary. All right, so that's the migration. Now we're going to run a test. And this test is just to see if I have the capability that I need to do the dictionary embedded in the database. Ran one test, and it tested OK, so I'm good. Now I'm going to do Python manage py run server. Okay, so this is going to start development server. So this is a way of connecting then your code, which is here in your database, with a browser. So now if I command and click this in Mac OS, I forgot Firebase was Firefox was my default browser. So I was going to open it in Firefox. So now what I have is a little SMS simulator. This also works with Twilio, but I found that it was a struggle to get everybody in the class working with Twilio. So I thought that rather than do that, I would write a little emulator. One of my students had a look at the emulator that I wrote and thought that they could do quite a bit better. And turns out that they could do quite a bit better. So this is actually a contribution from one of my students, Pat Wilkin. So thanks, Pat. Still a nice job. I'm still using it 4 or 5 years later. All right. So basically, then I'm going to type in hello here, and not a lot happens. So we will have another look at the database now, and something is going to happen to the database. So I'm going to just copy this URL. I'm going to close this Firefox browser. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to run the browser here. So the browser is already has some order in it. This is from the other day. So this is what we're going to be going for is pizza order, where the bot talks back and forth with you about your order. Just going to clear that for now. All right, so I'll just send a string from here. So now we've had an interaction with two browsers. Now I'll just open the JavaScript-based database editor. And if I look in, no, sorry, I got to open the database again because it's changed. March 19th, Django bot db.sqlite3. Open, go on SMS order. And now I have two orders in progress. And that's because I logged in with two different browsers. So it's faked a phone number. I know it's not a very realistic looking phone number, but this is the phone number that my emulator gives me. And I also have some data in here. So this is a dictionary in Python and written as in JavaScript object notation in the database. So I have two orders in the welcoming state, and we're going to be interacting with those and deleting them as time as time goes on. So let's have a look at our code. file that you're going to need to work with is in this SMS folder. It's in models.py. So basically what we have here, I'm just going to make myself a bit of room here so you can see my code. There isn't very much to it, just one screen full. So I've got an object here. It's an order. The order has two attributes, a phone number and data, which is a dictionary, as I mentioned. So this is an example of an object. It encapsulates data, attribute, and behavior. So that's an important concept that we had a couple of weeks ago when we talked about classes and inheritance. One of the concepts is that objects are a big step forward because they mix data and behavior. So because I have this big step forward, I can create something then that is independent of the rest of the framework that just handles an order. And the behavior that I need to handle an order are being able to handle input from the customer and being able to tell the framework whether the order is complete or not. And then I have a little thing here on line 21. This is a way of doing something in the database so to make the code more efficient. So not really necessary. We'll learn more about this in MB315. But the two pieces that I'm going to fill out are here. So this is the only file I need to change to make a Django chatbot. So if I look at handle input here, I'm making a structure. Hopefully you know what this is. This is a list. I'm making a list. This is going to be a list of messages to go in the chatbot. So I'm going to put a message in now. Welcome to Rich's Pizza. Okay, and then I'm going to dot append we have small, medium, and large pizzas. And I'll do one more line. A return dot append what size would you like? Okay. So this is going to send a message back to the browser. So now when I go in here, I'll actually get a message back here. So Django is set up so that it reloads in development mode. So I don't actually need to do anything to my server, which is still running here. So I'm going to just go back to my browser. I'm going to type in hello again. And this time I get this message back. All right. So I am going to say I want a large pizza. Oh, I never put a question mark on the end of what size would you like. Oh, I did put a question mark on what size would you like. That's interesting. All right. Well, I'm not going to stress over that now, but it looks like I've got a little bit of a problem with data there. I never noticed before. Anyways, no worries. I seem to remember something like this from before, but anyways, like I said, no worries. So I'm going to say large. I can put it in lowercase or uppercase. The reason I put this in uppercase here was to kind of draw them to their attention to the choices that work. So it doesn't really matter if I type uppercase or lowercase. Uh-oh. So it took me right back to the welcome prompt. Well, let's have a look at the code here. Or let's go back and look at the database first. Now, if we look in the database, I see that this state is welcoming. Right? So what I want to do is after I'm done welcoming, I want to change the state to something else. So I'm going to do if self. So self is how I refer to an instance of an object in Python. State, or sorry, data. I'm referring to this data attribute. All right. Then I'm going to indent all this code. Okay, and here I'm going to do self dot data state equals size. All right. So let's try that now. Unfortunately, I have these red wavy underlines here. I have this at work too, and I've never really dug into it. It says self is unsubscriptable, but or self dot sorry, so it says self dot data is unsubscriptable. I'm not really sure why that it says that. I guess it's maybe something to do with the JSON field, but it's definitely subscriptable. So we're gonna just go ahead. Like I said, I have this at work too, and I've never really dug into it. All right. So let's go back to here. Okay, welcome to Rich's Pizza. We have small, medium, and large pizzas. What size would I like? Okay. So that's interesting. I didn't move on like I was thinking it was going to. Let's just have another look here. Self.data state equals welcoming. Data state equals size. All right. Just going to start and stop my server. Maybe it wasn't as good as I thought. I'm just hitting the up arrow key to do Python 3 manage.py run server again. Rich's Pizza, we have small, medium, large. I put in large. I got something. I made a mistake here. Oh, I got a double equals here. That's a newbie mistake. All right. So now I'll go hello. Rich's Pizza, what size would I like? I would like large. And now I don't have a response for large. So I can actually see why here, because I'm not handling the state of large at all. So here now I'm going to, I'm not handling the state of size at all. Self.data state equals size. Now I'm going to write a little bit of code for size. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add size to the order. So I'm going to do self.data size equals, single equal this time. Try not to make the same mistakes twice. Okay, so it's going to be S input, so that's what's being passed to me here in the way of input, dot lower. Okay, so that's a Python function that lower cases it. All right, so that's got the data then captured in our dictionary. Now what we need to do is we need to pass on further instructions. Just going to let myself some more room on the screen. A return.append, which toppings would you like? Okay, and then I'm going to a return append. I'm going to put this in parentheses. Please list them separated with commas. Okay, so that's the message back. Now, the only thing that I need to do, so this is me taking my turn, the bot taking my turn, but I need to prepare then for my next turn. So I need to set the state then to be something else that I can handle here. Okay. So that's taking a turn. So I deal with the data that I got here. Then I set up for the next turn by telling the person that I'm texting with to enter in the toppings that they'd like. And then I set up for the next turn by setting the state so that I know what to do for the next turn. So I'm in state size right now. So if I go back to here, if I put in large, again, it says, which toppings would you like? Please list them separated with commas. Okay, so let's do anchovies and hot peppers. This pizza that a friend of mine really liked. Okay, and now I'm back to this again because I don't have any code to handle the toppings. So that got us started. Hopefully you're gonna see a pattern there. So go back to here. So I'll start with an elif self.data state equals toppings. Okay, and this is going to look a lot like code above. So I'm going to do self.data toppings equals s input dot lower as well. Okay. Then I'm going to do, let's see, I got the size, I've got the toppings. I'm going to try and upsell them for a drink. So then a return dot append, would you like a drink with that? All right, and then I'm going to give them another little hint, a return dot append, please type the drinks separated with commas or no. All right, so that gives them a little hint as to what I'm looking for. And then I've got to do self dot data state equals so this is going to be drinks. All right, and that'll take me to the next stage here. Okay, so I'll go back into here. This time I'm going to type in anchovies, hot peppers again, because that was the state I left myself in. Would you like a drink with that? Please type the drink separated with commas or no. All right, so I'm going to say Dr. Pepper. All right, and now I'm in the same position. So I'm going to stop the recording for a minute, and I'll make a bit of a part 2. We'll just finish up the last stage.